All right, we will go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining me tonight as we go over some important back to school information. So here are all of the Giving Tree Early Learning teachers. Starting at the upper left-hand side, we have Miss Christy Adams as our seedling lead teacher, and Miss Danielle Rayfelt as the seedling assistant teacher, who will also be in aftercare a few days a week. Then we have Miss Mary Panagitis as the olive lead, and Miss Hannah Testas as the olive assistant teacher. We have Miss Mackenzie Moonstar Olinger, which she goes by Miss Moonstar, as the orange lead teacher, and Miss Joanne De La Rosa as the orange assistant teacher. We have Miss Lauren as the almond lead teacher, and she'll be in aftercare with the big kids a couple of days a week. And Miss Teresa Winfrey as the almond assistant teacher. Miss Alyssa Bryan will be the FIG lead teacher this year, and she'll be in aftercare for a few days with the toddlers. And Miss Melanie Rivera will be the FIG assistant. And we have Mrs. Mayhern as the Oak lead, and she will be the assistant director again this year. And Miss Sydney Hughes is the Oak assistant. And the support teachers are Mrs. Rose Mehall as classroom and behavioral support. So she'll be in the classrooms to help with any behavioral issues, to help support the teachers that need different strategies for behaviors and things like that. Mrs. Michaela Kushner is back as classroom support, and she'll be in aftercare with the big kids and the toddlers a few days a week. Miss George is back as classroom support, and Miss Marina Levin as classroom support, and then me. You pronounce my name Alethea Minsloff, just in case anybody was wondering. I know it's a hard first and last name. So as far as communication goes, in the younger classrooms, so seedling, olive, orange, and almond, they will receive daily sheets. These sheets have information about eating, like how much of each meal was eaten. The teachers can write down what, foods your children liked, what they didn't really eat. There's toileting in there or diaper changes, and then there's nap times. Or if your child struggled to sleep, they can put a note in there as well. When the almond children turn 3 years old, daily sheets will no longer be used. So then the teachers in the classroom will communicate with you during Carline. Every classroom has a blog, so all families will have access to a classroom blog that's updated 3 times a week. Some classrooms will update more. I know in the Oak classroom, Mrs. Mayhern does a daily blog. But you can access the blog links on our website, and your teachers will be sending those out as well. As far as email and phone go, you can always call the classroom teacher with any concerns or questions outside of the classroom time, and then you can email them. And then there's also contact information outside of the classrooms on the walls, and you can get that info during back to school night. Some of the teachers have put their personal phone numbers on there, so you can get that information during back to school night. If you have any general program questions, anything that has to do with schedules, dietary or allergy needs, you can always email me or catch me in the hallway, or you can give me a phone call. And then Tony Scott is our COO, and she handles all questions related to tuition, scholarships, and payments. And her email is tscott@hhai.org. This year, we will have one parent-teacher conference that will occur in the springtime. I think one of the earlier calendars said March 15th, but the most recent calendar you guys should have received, it should say March 13th, and those will be held via Zoom or in person. You can sign up for slots between the hours of 1:30 and 7 o'clock. And your teachers will send out more information. I'll send out more information as we get closer to March. And then if you have any concerns throughout the school year, You can contact your teachers and they can set up meeting times if any issues happen or if you have any developmental concerns or anything like that. School hours of operation, morning arrival and afternoon dismissal. So our hours of operation are 8 to 6. This year dismissal will start 10 minutes earlier. So last year it was 3:30. This year we'll start at 3:20, but it will still go until 3:45. We're trying to make sure that we don't have a lot of the cars get backed up between the HHAI students and our Giving Tree students. So we're hopeful that dismissing at 3:20 will let some of those earlier parents get through the car line, and then some of the families that have children that attend Giving Tree as well as HHAI, they can go through the Giving Tree car line first and then come back around and go into the HHAI car line. On Fridays, beginning November 3rd, afternoon dismissal will be at 3 o'clock. And aftercare times will end earlier. An email will go out closer to those times to let you guys know exactly what times and what dates dismissal will happen during aftercare as well. And then 3:20 dismissal will resume Friday, February 2nd. Arrival procedures. We ask that you come in the car line between 8 o'clock and 8:15. If you arrive after 8:15, we ask that you park to the side of the building where the teachers park and bring your child inside. Please don't park right in front of those front doors because there's lots of traffic that goes through there. So we just want to make sure that all the kiddos stay safe. If you arrive after 9 o'clock, just notify the front desk and let your child's teacher know. Typically, this is for doctor's appointments or, unforeseen circumstances, anything like that. But if you email or text your teachers and just let them know, that way they have a heads up. And then aftercare will be located in rooms 136 and 137. So when you come down into our hallway, those are the last two rooms on the left and the right. And I ask that you bring your ID just so that the front desk person can check your ID just to make sure. We want to keep security tight, so they'll verify who you're picking up. And if you plan to pick up early for any kind of appointments, if you're going out of town, anything like that, we just ask that you let your teacher know. That way they can make sure that your child is ready when you're coming to get them. And then to this side, you'll see a map. We ask that you enter through the entrance and come around the parking lot. The blue line is for Giving Tree families. And then you follow the blue line and you exit through our normal exit. And then if you have a child that attends both Giving Tree and HHAI, we ask that you follow the blue line and then come around into the entrance again and follow the red line to drop off your HHAI kiddo. Daily schedule. Our daily schedules are pretty flexible and contain the following activities and times. Outdoor activities, the classrooms are flexible with their outdoor times. Typically, they go out for a chunk in the morning time, and depending on how long rest time or nap time lasts, they might go back outside in the afternoon. But they can visit all of our outdoor areas, including the playground, the outdoor classroom, the green space, or the bike track. Typically, splash days happen on the bike track, and some of the classrooms have had play dates after school on the playground as well. Children will go outside as long as the weather permits. So in the summertime, as long as the heat index is below 90 degrees, they will go outside. And in the wintertime, as long as the temperature is above 25 degrees with the wind chill, they will go outside. They will also go outside when it rains. We ask that families send rain boots. Some of the little ones have rain suits on their supply lists. So those will just help them from keeping, clean outside when they're splashing and all that good stuff. So as far as meals go, AM snack starts at 9:30. And lunchtime usually starts around 11:30, depending on the morning activities. It could start a little later, around 11:45. PM snack starts at 2:30. And then if your child is in aftercare, they will get their aftercare snack around 4:30. Group activities vary depending on the age group and what their schedule looks like, but various small and large group activities will happen throughout the day. At least a third of the day will consist of free play. That includes the use of small group activities in various learning centers. It's starting to rain really hard, so you might hear the thunder and rain in the background. So the specials that we have is Gym with Miss Blaine. That's every Monday, and all of the kiddos go. So seedling, olive, orange, almond, fig, and oak will have Gym with Miss Blaine on Mondays. And the fig classroom has art with Mrs. Fellagy and Gym with Mrs. Blaine. And the oak classroom will have music in addition to art and gym. And each day, every classroom will have time built into their day so that they can visit one of our creative play spaces. And that includes the light studio, the atelier, the BMR, the outdoor classroom, the green space, or the bike track. So aftercare, again, will be located in rooms 136 and 137. Bringing a snack is optional, but I do recommend it because the kiddos do get pretty hungry when they're in aftercare. We ask that you send a shelf-stable snack, and you can just label it with aftercare. That way we make sure to save that for aftercare, and you can just send it with all the meals for that day. On Mondays, in the big kid aftercare, it will be Miss Michaela. And in seedling aftercare, we'll have Miss Alyssa and Miss Danielle. On Tuesday, the Oak aftercare teacher will be Miss Lauren, and the seedling teachers will be Miss Alyssa and Miss Michaela. On Wednesdays, we'll have Miss Lauren again with the Oak kiddos, and Miss Alyssa and Miss Danielle with the seedling classes. On Thursday, we'll have Miss Lauren in Oak and Miss Michaela and Miss Joanne in seedling. And then on Fridays, we will have Miss Melanie in Oak and Miss Moonstar in seedling. And as far as the aftercare names go, the Oak just means the bigger kids. So it's Fig and Oak, and the seedling just means the toddler classes. So it's seedling, olive, and orange, and a couple of almond kiddos in that class as well. School supplies, rest time materials, and sunscreen. You guys should have received school supply lists from your teachers, and they're also under the they're on our website as well. You can drop off school supplies before school at back to school night, or you can send them with your child on the first day. If you do wish for your child to wear bike helmets, we ask that you provide those and send them to school either at back to school night or on the first day of school. And then rain boots and winter gear. Just please make sure that you're sending appropriate gear for your kiddo to enjoy being outside with their friends. It's really important that they have, coats when it starts getting really cold, gloves, especially for the little ones that are more sensitive to the temperatures outside, and then rain boots in every class. Play clothes. So we ask that you send a couple of pairs of changes of clothing, because we do lots of hands-on learning and it does result in messes and stains. There is paint out at all times. The sensory table is always open. And then we encourage children to feed themselves. So there are lots of opportunities for your child to get messy, and they will come home covered in paint probably for the toddler rooms. When those first couple weeks of school, there's lots of paint on clothes. So we just ask that you send clothes that you don't mind being messy, and that you send like 2 changes of clothing. We will not limit a child's experience or learning process due to a parent preference, like not wanting to get a shirt dirty. So we just ask that you make sure to send clothing that you don't mind getting a little messy. As far as rest time goes, nap time happens in seedling, olive, orange, almond, and fig classrooms. and they all rest on small cots. You can send a fitted crib sheet, a blanket, and then if there's any kind of lovey or anything that your child needs to go to sleep, you can send that as well. You'll send those on Monday, and then the teachers will send everything home on Friday to be washed, and then you'll send it again on Monday. Students in the Oak classroom will be given the opportunity to rest midday. You can send a small pillow or blanket if you know that your child takes a nap or a levy. And then children who are especially tired will be given the opportunity to rest longer if they need to. As far as sunscreen goes, it should be applied before the child arrives to school. And then if you wish for sunscreen to be reapplied, you can send an unopened bottle of sunscreen labeled with your child's first and last name, as well as instructions for application. And that will be kept in the child's classroom. Just make sure that you hand it to the teacher or let her know that you are sending it. That way we can take it out of the backpack. So as far as diapering and potty training goes, we ask that any diapers or pull-ups you send have reclosable tabs. Teachers will let you know when those diapers or pull-ups start to run low, and we'll ask that you replenish those whenever you get the notification that it's running low. Diapering happens throughout the day, roughly every 2 hours. For the toddlers, all of that will be detailed on the daily sheets. And children in diapers will be offered the chance to use the toilet if they show interest. This is only if they show interest on their own. They will never be forced to sit on the potty. And then any communication as far as interest in toileting goes, the teacher will let parents know if they find that the child in their classroom is interested in potty training. So some of the signs of readiness for potty training include your child can and does tell the teacher that he or she has to use the toilet. They're able to pull up and down their clothing. They potty train or they toilet independently. And they've had consistent success in the home environment. So as soon as you start potty training or exploring those potty training options, communicate that with your teacher. And the teachers try to do the best they can to stay consistent between home and school. So they'll work together with you to make sure that potty training is successful for your child. Toilets are accessible at all times. They're located in every classroom and the majority of our creative play spaces. For the older classrooms, potty breaks will be scheduled before, probably like during transition times, before moving to other classrooms, before any kind of group activity or outside time. Independence is encouraged and supported in meeting toileting needs. So a lot of the time the teachers might prompt your child to go to the bathroom, but they do have the option to say no or wait for a little bit and try again later. Jewish experiences and holidays. We experience Jewish traditions, holidays, and rituals and culture through play-based explorations. Storytelling, dramatic play, cooking, and sensory experiences create understanding and meaning for even our youngest learners. Additionally, children in Olive through Oak will learn about Judaics throughout the week. So we do weekly Shabbat parties that include a little bit of juice and cookies, as well as singing Shabbat songs. A lot of the times, older classrooms will invite some of the younger classrooms to join them in Shabbat songs and drinking juice and cookies, and they'll go back to their classrooms. So that's a nice way for the classrooms to get those multi-age experiences. We see the Jewish traditions during the Light Studio experiences. For every holiday, the Light Studio is set up to reflect whatever holiday it is so that children get those hands-on experiences and get to explore the Jewish traditions through the Light Studio. We do holiday celebrations in the classroom, talk about Parsha stories, and they do davening. So we have some volunteer parents that come and do davening with the Olive through Oak kiddos. And it's just a couple of songs, and they'll talk about any kind of Parsha story. And it's roughly 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the age group. So that's a great experience, especially for some of the older kids. They get really involved and they love the songs and dances that they get to do. Food policy. So our food policy can be found on our website, and you can find it again during the nutrition webinar. I just want to reiterate that everything sent from home must be kosher dairy or parve, no meat and no nuts. Lunch needs to come to school in a bag or container labeled with your child's first and last name. All lunch items will be stored in our walk-in refrigerator and served around 11:30. Snacks must contain 2 components. It can be a combination of protein, a fruit and veggie, or a grain. And those are kept separately in the classroom and served at 9:30 and 2:30. Giving Tree students will have an option to purchase a dairy hot lunch, a meat hot lunch option for Fig and Oak classes, and a cheese pizza option on Friday. The cost per meal varies between $5 and $8. That communication and order form and details about the menu come from Tony. So look out for an email from Tony Scott that has an order form and a menu, and you can decide if you want to order any of the lunch options. The meat lunch options will only be for the Fig and Oak classes though. Information on approved kosher symbols or suggestions on where to purchase kosher foods are available on the website, so you can check that out again. And that's it. Does anybody have any questions or anything that I didn't cover? There we go. It was a lot of information. And again, this recording will be sent out. It will be posted on our website, and then I will also send out all of these slides so you can look over them. All of this information, the majority of it is in the parent handbook. And if you have any questions, you can email me, give me a call, and you can also communicate with your teacher if you have any questions about anything throughout the year as well. Okay. Oh yeah. All right, if nobody has any questions, I guess that'll be it. I'll let you guys enjoy your night and try to stay dry outside. If you think of anything, you can ask me at back to school night tomorrow, or you can go ahead and shoot me an email or give me a phone call. All right, everybody have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.